I would like to introduce Professor HAJAR MOUSANNIF, an old friend of mine that I met 4 or 5 years ago, and who has impressed me with what she has taught herself and what, the body of students that she has assembled in Marrakesh, where things really happen. Sometimes you meet people around whom things happen, and Hajar is one of those people who makes things happen in the world.
Thank you very much, Frank, for the nice introduction. It's my great honor and pleasure to be here for the first time in Faculty of Medicine. And thank you, as Dean, for inviting me to give this talk. Well, first, what I would like to say, well, I hate staying behind the box here because I'm a woman who is free and a woman who speaks from her heart, and I would like to be able to transmit this energy I have so that Morocco joins the AI fray. And I think that AI, or artificial intelligence, is the next revolution. And whether we like it or not, will be either in or out. Artificial intelligence is not something that is artificial in my sense. Artificial intelligence is natural. You have nothing to be afraid of. Why? You are using artificial intelligence every day. Every time you go to YouTube, and YouTube recommends the videos, and it happens that those videos are exactly what you were planning to watch. This is artificial intelligence. Whenever you use your smartphone, you type a text, and your smartphone automatically auto-completes the words, and it happens that those words are exactly what you're planning to type. This is artificial intelligence. When you go to Google for search, and it happens that Google exactly pops up the words that you've just previously talked about a couple of minutes. This is artificial intelligence. So please stop thinking about artificial intelligence as artificial. We're all using artificial intelligence, and you'll be either in or out. Artificial intelligence is the next revolution. It revolutionizes the value chain of many vital sectors, including industry, healthcare, agriculture. Whenever you think of a topic, there is AI there. So this is an opportunity to seize, and I'm very happy to see many young people here because I see in them the future of Morocco. I'm not saying that old people are not useful, not at all. They are our wisdom, and they owe us all our respect. So just before diving in, for people who don't know me, I'm a woman who's crazy, by the way. Crazy ideas, crazy things, crazy inventions. I'm a woman who loves challenge. I work really hard. I have an engineering degree and a PhD degree in computer science. I'm also a coordinator of a master program in data science and artificial intelligence in HAJAR University in Marrakesh, in which I teach statistics, machine learning, and big data analytics. I have some patents in artificial intelligence, and I invite you to watch my videos, my TEDx talk on YouTube. I have this big dream to change this world in some way or the other. I'm not pretending. I didn't come from any, I'm not an outsider. I'm 100% Moroccan made. I studied in public Moroccan schools and universities. I had the opportunity to work at MIT. I said no, Morocco is something I'm really connected to, and I believe that if there is a change to create, it should be from our country. So I stayed here. I had many opportunities. I stayed in Morocco, and we will create the change from Morocco. My colleagues, Professor Saidi and Dr. Hakam and Frank made the task much easier for me because this morning they talked about artificial intelligence. They introduced many applications, so I'll be really brief and go directly to the point. As you all know, technology is reshaping the world with the significant advances in information and communication technology over the past half-century. We have those technologies that are emerging. With cloud computing, we have infinite power of computation right in our pocket. Big data and artificial intelligence takes advantage of the technically unlimited capabilities of the cloud to make predictive and prescriptive analytics and extract insights about every aspect of our life. Internet of Things makes everything that can be connected, and Professor Saidi and Dr. Hakam mentioned it this morning, Internet of Medical Things and Internet of Everything. Those are sensors, wearables that generate huge amounts of data that is waiting to be processed and analyzed. And we have mobile technology, which is very powerful, which makes information become available anywhere and anytime. So I see those technologies as the pillars of the next generation of IT, and they blur the traditional boundaries actually and revolutionize the value chain of many vital sectors, including the healthcare sector, in which we'll be talking about in this presentation. Healthcare big data, where does it come from? Because we're talking about data and the data that is being generated. Of course, we collectively generate huge amounts of data. Every time you go to a website, click or post to social media, that is data that is being generized. So, healthcare big data comes from electronic medical records, electronic health records, clinical data, they talked about this morning, genomic data, and they mentioned this morning the Personal Genome Project and the Human Genome Project. We also have big data that comes from social media. Today, as you know, Google is our friend. Whenever we get sick, we probably go to Google and ask our questions before we go to the doctor. There's this richness in the information that is being generated on the web. We have the Internet of Things, so those are medical sensors, wearables, and Dr. Hakam introduced it very well this morning as well. So all this data doesn't make any sense if we can't extract insights from it. So we need to take advantage of this data to make good decisions. What is artificial intelligence? Very easily. We want a machine to think and reason and take decisions just like human beings are doing. So we want the machine to be as intelligent as the human being. Better, we want the machine to do sometimes better than the human being. We can imagine a machine as a brain, an artificial brain, that processes data, does some reasoning, and takes some decision. The machine has the ability to process a huge amount of data. Unlike us, humans, we can have limited input, and of course our decisions will be made based on this input. But a machine can really process a huge amount of data and take good decisions. And there is this new aspect, which is strong AI. Those are this type of artificial intelligence is really powerful, and this is an AI that is able to improve itself and reprogram itself. So it's like it goes far beyond the human intellectual capacity and control. And we have nowadays AI that sometimes detect the change the human being is trying to change their behavior, and they are trying to react to this change. Of course, there are many technologies that are associated with artificial intelligence. We have machine learning, which I will be introducing further in this presentation. We have computer vision, giving the machine the ability to see and analyze images. NLP, natural language processing. This is something that you notice, for example, when you do Hey Siri or Hey Google, and you have this automatic language translation, etc. And the last part is robotics, which is also part of artificial intelligence. So this is the global picture. I mean, it's crazy how all those fields are correlated. We have here the red circle is the data science, and then we have many technologies that are correlated. We have artificial intelligence, and inside artificial intelligence we have machine learning, and then as an exciting field within machine learning we have deep learning, and we have knowledge from, computer science, and you see here that it's not only computer science, it's not only, limited technology, but there is a correlation of many technologies: mathematics, statistics, neurocomputing, high-performance computing, data visualization. So all this is related. What is machine learning? Because the key, in my sense, for artificial intelligence is those powerful algorithms that are able to parse the data and to learn from the data and to make predictions from real-world interactions. So, by definition, machine learning is using algorithms to parse the data, learn from the data, and make determination or prediction about something in the world. But the definition that is, in my sense, very powerful and reflects better the machine learning part is that building systems or computers that are prone to learn and act like humans do, and sometimes I said better than humans, and improve their learning over time. This is very important. We want a machine not only to learn, but we want it to improve its learning. It's the same way we humans improve our learning. Basic types of machine learning. We have basically 4 important types. We have the supervised, the unsupervised, the semi-supervised, and the reinforcement. I will give just a couple of examples just to put you in the loop. For supervised learning, the idea, we have 2 types. We have what we call a regression problem, and we have what we call a classification problem. For regression problem, we want to predict a value, very easy. For example, we have data, like here we have ages and the blood pressure, and we want to answer a simple question. If a woman has a certain age, what is likely to be her blood pressure? So this is a simple regression problem. We build a model, machine learning model, that can solve this. For classification problem, and this is really powerful, especially in tumor detection, we teach the computer what is a tumor and what is not a tumor, and then we feed the computer with an image, and we want the computer to classify what type of cancer is this. Is it malignant or is it benign? And this is very, very powerful. And what is more interesting is that nowadays we have libraries that you can have this in something like 12 or 13 or 14 lines of codes. So this is really powerful. We have libraries, Python, TensorFlow, Keras. You have only a few lines of code, an algorithm, a simple algorithm, and you build a powerful classifier, provided that you have the data. I'm working with some dermatologists here in Morocco to build, and we already finalized the application, a mobile app that can, for example, allow people from zones that cannot have access to health. They simply take an image of the area on the skin, for example. It could be just like, I don't know, something that the person suspected as a tumor, and the app would say, is this a tumor or not tumor? What is powerful about the system we built is that we use Moroccan images. Because what happens is that when you use applications from outside Morocco, there's a huge bias. People usually have white skin, and you cannot really apply this to the Moroccan context where the color can be of importance. So we're working with dermatologists on this, and we're in the finalization step. So this is supervised learning. And supervised, we simply have we feed the data into the computer, into the algorithm, and we let the computer structure the data. We want the computer to simply try to find patterns in the data. So for example, in this microarray data, and you have the genes, and simply the algorithm will cluster the data and determine the different types of people corresponding to those genes. So those are the basic parts of machine learning. Now, an interesting, really interesting field is those neural networks or deep learning. So neural networks, what are they? This is a specific type of machine learning that's trying to mimic the functioning of the human brain. So those are made of neurons that do some processing. Of course, this is not something new. They started, a couple of years ago, but they were computationally expensive. So only nowadays we're able to really, train a deep neural network. And what I mean by a deep neural network is simply a neural network with many layers inside it with a more complicated structure. Now, the power of those algorithms is that in classical machine learning, we need some knowledge or expertise about feature engineering. For example, as a doctor, if you want to specify whether this is a tumor or not tumor, you need to take the size of the tumor, the structure of the tumor. You need to do some feature engineering. You need some expertise about what you're looking at. Now, the power of those algorithms, and more specifically deep learning, is that the algorithm does this feature engineering for you, which means that you simply need to feed the picture or the image, and it's up to the algorithm to learn those characteristics that characterize the tumor or not tumor. So this is really powerful, and we're now able to train such neural network. Of course, our colleagues mentioned many applications, AI applications in healthcare. There are many of them, mobile coaching solutions. Professor Hadi mentioned personalized medicine, drug discovery, surgical robotics. Well, all this is nice. Now, what I want to transmit to you is that there are things that are happening in Morocco. And I know that if, for example, people come to you from foreign universities or from European universities or whatever, will say, okay, those are the more developed, they have the means, they have the necessary knowledge, they have expertise. Now I want to show you some of the things that we built here in Morocco, and they could be interesting, and this is an open call for collaboration. I'm not a specialist in healthcare, I'm a specialist in artificial intelligence. But I worked with many people, I worked with many companies, I'm working with the Aqua Group, I'm working with finance companies. Wherever there's artificial intelligence, they happen to come to me. So, my first love story with artificial intelligence started in 2013, when I was pregnant with my first baby. By the way, to empower the young ladies that I'm here, I am a wife, mother of 3 kids, which are driving me crazy, but I still managed to find time for my project. When I had my first baby, I had something normal that happened to some women, which is baby blues. Okay, I was depressed, I was working all the time, working, and then if they come, they say, stay at home, take care of the baby, so there was this change in the mood. And then I saw my smartphone on the table doing absolutely nothing to ease my pain. I was upset and sad, and I started talking to my phone. What the hell, you have a camera, you know how sad I am, you have a microphone, you can hear me. Why can't you do anything to react to my pain? And I said, why not? Why not transform those smartphones into emotionally smartphones so they become truly smart? So I started working on facial emotion recognition from the camera, and then from the voice, and then from the text we type, and then I added the context and my location, and I come up with a powerful algorithm that I patented, and I will show you some of the results. So here what I do is that from my facial expressions, the algorithm correctly identify whether I'm happy, or I am angry, or whether I am sad. Of course, I know it's not enough, because from facial expression, it might not be very, important to determine my emotional state, but I added the voice.
You're such an idiot. I hate you. I think my life is beautiful.
So here, only from the way I speak, the algorithm can determine whether I'm upset or not. And this is something which is really good. And if we combine that with what we type, You know, it's easy. You go to WhatsApp and you type, I'm sad, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. I also added the text, and I worked on a very powerful algorithm which we developed. So here, from the text, the algorithm can identify my emotional or the sentiment or the emotion the text expresses. For example, if I do, this is the best day of my life, it gives joy with a high accuracy. Those are feelings that are associated. If nobody loves me, for example, if we test, this is, by the way, this is online, I can give you the link. It gives sadness and surprise, maybe a bad surprise. And what's interesting is that, don't ever talk to me again, you stupid. Of course, this is anger, and the algorithm automatically identified it as anger. And when I started working on this, because we used YouTube commands as corpus, when I typed Donald Trump won the elections,
is it true?
It gave me anger and fear. Because how did I do this? The algorithm is something we developed, actually. But I used YouTube commands. I mean, the commands you type on YouTube. And only from this data on YouTube, we can correctly identify everything about you. And this is how they are profiling you. I mean, this is how they do content recommendation and a bunch of stuff. So this is the first patent, as I told you. Well, this is another project, one of the 6 projects that were accepted for funding by the ministry. This is a funded project by the Ministry of Transport. 6 out of 132 projects that were submitted to the ministry. This is one of them. And the idea is to gain insight into the driving behavior of the driver. So we have a night driving simulator, and we collect data about the way the drivers drive, the way they accelerate, decelerate, change gears, and we added a camera to monitor the facial expressions, and we have like sensors, and we gained insight. We are able to detect race driving only from the way people drive. And the idea is to have this system inside vehicles and have, for example, the ministry punishing you if you're a bad driver, or maybe giving you kind of reward if you're a good driver. And also tell the people around you that you're a bad driver or a good driver. So this is the idea behind this project, and we achieved nice results here too. This is an app that we did for miscarriage prediction. I know it was really challenging, and we achieved nice results. We actually had women participated in our study, and those women had sensors, activity. We monitored the activity of the pregnant woman. We monitored the location, the heart rate, blood pressure. We had women with a bunch of sensors. We collected a lot of data that we published, by the way, in Elsevier. You can find our data set about those pregnant women. And they participated. The idea is that we have a mobile application that can, for example, if the woman had harsh activity, I mean physical activity, or doesn't eat well because we have, or doesn't sleep well because we have some sleep monitor, the idea is that we provide advice for the woman to either slow down the activity, and in case of extreme activity, we may have the doctor send alerts or notification to the doctor, maybe to reduce the time between visits. And this is an app which is available on App Store. Also, I know that Dr. Hakam doesn't like apps like this, but the idea is more not to replace the doctor, but more to provide recommendations for the pregnant woman so she can take well of her body and the baby. This is also something, a prototype on which we worked. This is entirely controlled by hand gesture, and what we did here is that we wanted an AI that acts as a personal coach. This is a conveyor belt. People exercise, but we don't want a normal conveyor belt. We want a conveyor belt that encourages people to practice sport. So it is equipped with NLP, natural language processing. When you slow down, it tells you, hey, go ahead, you can do etc., etc. So we have this nice prototype as well for this application. What's this? This is a chair, but this is not like any chair. This is a magical chair. This chair knows if you understood what I've been saying or not. It has a bunch of sensors. We collect 38 facial attributes. We collect facial expressions. We collect movement, the way you are sitting, whether there are vibrations, heart sensors, if you're anxious or you're stressed out. There are head or position, if you're doing this, or if you're sleeping. And we also have environmental attributes because we notice that the students, especially in Marrakech, it gets really hot, and we notice that the temperature had influence on the learning performance of the students. And the idea is that in this amphitheater, we have many people. As a professor, I don't know whether you understood or not. So with this chair, I have a smartwatch, and I receive every 15 minutes the percentage of people who understood and those who didn't understand. 30% understood, 70 didn't. So 15 minutes time frame, I have still the chance or the opportunity to adapt my pedagogy so that you learn better. And this is not science fiction. This is something that we patented and for which we received the first prize of research in 2017. This is a technology that we are very proud of. In the patent, all our recommendation, all our claims, I don't know for those who are familiar with patent, there are claims, and all our claims were accepted. None of our claim was elsewhere. For my first patent, I had conflict on 3 claims with Microsoft. And of course, I cannot compete with Microsoft. But for this patent, all of my claims were accepted and there was no issue. And this is my last, very last, lovely Shama. Shama is the first 100% Moroccan-made robot. I'm not joking. This is a robot, a real robot. And Shama is superhuman with assistant in multiple activities. Name Shama is Moroccan. She's beautiful. And I'm going to show you what Shama can do. Leila Shama. This is the first version of Shama. Very ugly, but made with a lot of passion. We started with wood, not because we don't have the means that we should stop dreaming or stop doing things. We don't have the means, we do with what we have. So we started with wood, and we improved our version. The hands are des tuyaux que nous avons coupés. The hands. And then started to receive command. If I ask, bouge la main droite, bouge les deux mains, it responds. It has eyes.
Much better.
I don't know whether you can hear. Did you hear what she said? أرجوك لا تلمس شعري ستفسد تسريحتي. And she can answer a lot of questions. She can identify emotions. She can tell you whether you're angry or sad, and maybe tell you a joke to support you emotionally. You can ask her different questions, whatever you want. She can answer whatever questions you want, thanks to natural language processing. I'm not showing her, of course she will not perform surgery, this is for sure. But now she can entertain you, she can answer questions. This is just to tell you that we Moroccan, this is a 100% Moroccan architecture. In traditional robotic, companies, they provide you the hardware, but they provide you their own API, and you have to pay for whatever. This is a 100% architecture, so light that you can use. We are thinking of patenting. We haven't started yet this process, but this is just to tell you that as Moroccans, nothing should stop us. We can really achieve nice things, and especially in the AI fields. This is something which is really new, and we have nothing to envy to other countries. This is something I didn't learn. Artificial intelligence is something that I didn't learn at school or at the university. This is something I learned myself, thanks to the knowledge that is being put on courses that are on Coursera, that are on Udacity, on edX. Now you have no excuse. The courses or classes are everywhere, the information is there, the tutorials on YouTube are there, so all we need is to be determined about what we want, and of course some means at least to build the first prototype, and then maybe do some, I don't know, participate in competition and start to build your startup or whatever. Now, as an honest researcher, I have to speak about the ugly face of artificial intelligence. All those applications are about loss of privacy, you know that. Wearables, sensors, we collect a lot of data, and this data, whenever you go to Facebook or GAFA, as Dr. Haka mentioned this morning, you lose your privacy, because you have to be aware what is being done with the data that is being collected. AI is money and power. And we remember Facebook acquired WhatsApp only for the personal information WhatsApp had. So if we want to use the technology, we need to be aware what is being done behind the scenes. With AI, we lose the right to lie. Do you know that? This is a right. As women, we love that. And with AI, we lose the right to lie. I have my brother who worked for Facebook, and I know what I'm talking about. They have those automatic age correction algorithms. You declare that you have 28, and it turns out that the algorithm says, no, you have 40. Too bad for a woman to lie, not to lie about her age. In France, they are starting to use Facebook data to see whether you're truly declaring the money you earn. You go to Thailand, you spend nice vacation, you declare you have $2,000 or euros, that doesn't make any sense. So you have to be aware of the data you're sharing. Will robots replace humans? And this is the questions that was being asked this morning. They will, if we are executors, if we only do what robots can do. But if we focus on what robots can't do, robots can never have a soul. Robots can never have humanity. And this humanity part, this human part, is the thing that we should nurture, that we should focus on. Moral values, respect, what makes us human beings, our creativity. This way, robots will never be replacing us, but they will be our servants, not the other way around. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Hajar. The skin cancer application for people from different countries is really, really exciting. And I will pass it on to Sally Davis, the Master of Trinity College, Cambridge, so she knows about it. The thought struck me halfway through that presentation. If Hajar can do that with a smartphone, what is she going to do with the £500,000 computer that I'm going to gift her next year? We can expect Hajar to be organising the Moroccan manned mission to Mars.
Why not? The sky is the limit. The sky is not the limit.
Thank you so much, Hajar, for this wonderful presentation. Probably we can pick one or some questions from the audience. Any questions? Vous pouvez aussi poser des questions en français.
I was wondering about the dermatoscope. Do you use the dermatoscope combined with your smartphone for the dermatological lesions? And my second question is, does the IA detect sarcasm?
Okay, that's a good question. For the application for dermatologists, we use just the phone camera, and we feed we have a trained model based on images, high definition images that were provided by dermatologists. So for training the model, we use the high definition images that were given to us by dermatologists. But for the detection, we don't need that high definition. It could be a nice image, and we provide only whether it's suspicious or not. Of course, this is just for people who are, for example, they have something and they don't know what is it. So maybe if there's a high probability that there is something, you go to see the doctor. But if it's simple, like, I don't know, acne or something, that would tell, the app would tell that that's okay. And for a second question, sarcasm, that's why we need a human being. Because sarcasm is something that I can do ha 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 ha. Of course, if I use only the facial expression, it would say I'm happy. It would not detect sarcasm. But the power here with big data is that we don't only use one modality. Use different modalities. Use the voice, use the facial expression, use the context of interaction. I mean, what you type. Use the location information. For example, to know where you are, if you're in a cemetery, if you're in a hospital, if you need assistance or not. So it's this combination that can give you quite a good idea about the emotional state of the user.
Toute petite question concernant la reconnaissance de l'écriture. On est dans un pays où on a une particularité très précise dans l'écriture, c'est-à-dire que nous écrivons l'arabe en français, le français en arabe. Donc, Kaba, il va écrire 9ARP, donc vous connaissez cette histoire-là. Pour avoir travaillé un peu sur des outils de réputation et de recherche en fait de sémantique sur les réseaux sociaux, il nous a été très compliqué de gérer des campagnes de réputation pour des organismes ici au Maroc, parce qu'il y a, par exemple, quand il y a eu la première crise de l'ONCF, on a essayé de travailler, et vous avez une personne qui va écrire Tren, le Tsa, le Ra, l'Elif, le Noun, Tren, Ta, le Ren, واحد يكون تريبار واحد يكتب 9 اي تي ا ار et ainsi de suite. Comment vous faites, comment vous estimez que vous allez gérer cette partie-là?
Voilà, une question qui est très pertinente. Alors par rapport, j'ai oublié de vous dire que ce projet-là, c'est un projet... Alors attendez, je vais revenir un petit peu en arrière. Celui-là, c'est un projet qui est financé parmi les 10 projets qui ont été financés par les Nations Unies. Et ça a été annoncé les Nations Unies l'année faite. C'est plus mining the web for insight on violence against women and conflict-related gender-based violence in the MENA region. C'est-à-dire qu'on travaille avec la langue arabe. La langue arabe, c'est très difficile, ça c'est sûr. Mais déjà, nous avons commencé à identifier le dialecte. C'est-à-dire, le projet, on arrive facilement à identifier le dialecte en se basant à la sémantique, les mots qui se répètent le plus souvent dans le contexte. Donc, par exemple, on a identifié le pays, classe, dialecte, l'effet. Maintenant, le Maghreb, c'est la même chose, c'est-à-dire on a identifié pour l'instant, c'est l'identification de dialecte. Après, par rapport à la question, on peut parfaitement faire la base de données de similitude. Je peux tenter de faire une similarity ونشوف la proximité par exemple مثلا عندي 3 هي الع ونشوف شنو le mot le plus proche الا رجعت مثلا 3 ع ونشوف je la traduis بالعربيه je peux avoir une idée هذا سميتو mais pour l'instant on va travailler sur l'English language ou l'arabic pour la détection des dialectes pour le moment parce que c'est un projet en cours اللي بدا داك العام باقي ما يكمل حتى 2022.
Voilà, donc je reprends la parole pour remercier quelqu'un. Donc c'est Abraham Dommage parce que quand je lui parlais d'organiser la journée, les gars, vous ne pouvez pas organiser la journée sans inviter Hajar. Et il avait tout à fait raison. Je ne pourrais pas me vraiment, parce qu'en fin de compte, c'est vraiment une fierté. Voilà, il faut le dire, we are very proud actually, pour trouver quelqu'un qui fait ça, qui le fait avec les moyens dans le contexte marocain. Et je pense que tout le monde est d'accord pour dire que c'est une très belle initiative. Je pense que ce qui nous manquerait en fin de compte, c'est une histoire de succès. Et là aujourd'hui, il y a plein d'histoires de succès qu'on a eues dans cette journée. Je ne pensais pas qu'on aurait de gens très talentueux comme ça. Voilà. Mais vraiment, je le dis, je suis émerveillé parce que quand on a invité Sihaka, et je l'ai eu là, c'est vraiment, quand on est embarqué dans tout ça, on ne savait pas qu'on aurait un produit fini comme ça aujourd'hui. Merci infiniment. Voilà,
merci beaucoup.
C'est vraiment un très grand plaisir.
C'est vraiment la richesse marocaine. Je le dis et je le répète.
Voilà, je reviendrai à ça parce que là on a lancé ce challenge de dire, quand on avait commencé à penser à Digital Aid, moi je peux dire que je peux faire beaucoup de choses, mais je ne peux pas prétendre être un informaticien. Et en plus, j'avais des jeunes autour de moi et on ne connaissait pas bien les gens. On dit voilà, on va se lancer dans le bain et juste auto-formation. Et c'est magique, comme vous l'avez dit, et chaque fois qu'on trouve des résultats, et j'invite les gens qui sont là, mais là on va aller plus loin, on va aller challenger plus ou moins le faire. Et j'aime bien ce challenge qui a été lancé et je pense qu'on pourra le faire. Il y a Si Mohamed et Si Mohamed aussi qui sont là et on va le mettre dans le spot et il faut qu'on gagne ce challenge et le développer et je suis sûr qu'on va le faire, Inch'Allah. J'espère que dans un an, quand on va revenir et parler de tout ça, on trouvera qu'on a développé quelque chose grâce aux speakers et grâce à cette inspiration que vous avez donnée et que Sihaka m'a donné aussi, Mohamed. Et grâce aussi, I thank Frank because I saw him very excited actually because every time you were talking, he was like looking at his kid instead. So it's nice to have that. I don't have any comments, but all what you said actually, it's great and it's really ça donne envie de faire la suite. Voilà, merci.
Français, bien sûr. Moi, c'est juste, je veux savoir qu'est-ce qu'il y a après Chaîne. Qu'est-ce que vous êtes en train de vous préparer?
Déjà, il n'est pas pour le mariage. Hein. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a après Chama? Alors, ce qu'il y a après Chama, c'est quelque chose de... Chama ou l'idée. L'aventure ne s'arrêtera jamais là. À chaque fois qu'il y a la volonté, il y a cette volonté de changer les choses. Il va y avoir toujours des opportunités pour faire mieux et donner le meilleur de soi. J'ai lancé d'ailleurs plusieurs projets que je n'ai pas mentionnés parce que je suis cofondatrice de la start-up Artificial Intelligence for Financial Markets. Ça n'a rien à voir avec tout ça. Mais c'est plus le challenge. C'est-à-dire à chaque fois qu'il y a le challenge, chaque fois qu'on nous dit we can't do it, I say we can do it. Donc voilà, c'est ça. Donc déjà chez Ama, il y a toute la partie robotique qui va être envoyée, qui va être développée. Donc on est en train de développer pour l'agriculture un robot agricole qui va faire la dissémination des engrais ou la détection des diseases au niveau des plants. Donc c'est un projet en cours. Un projet avec Aqua Group sur tout ce qui est Smart Station. Donc c'est un projet pour réaliser carrément une station intelligente équipée de différents outils d'intelligence possible, détection de conducteurs, détection de nombre de voitures et tout. On a le projet avec le ministère des Nations Unies pour tout ce qui est justement Natural Language Processing, Femina Regional Violence Related. Le projet en cours, c'est également le projet du ministère de Transport. Oh, Chama, c'est un projet. Voilà.
Hajar, je te félicite. Franchement, tu nous as ouvert une fenêtre agréable sur l'intelligence artificielle. Je te félicite pour la présentation et pour tous les travaux que tu as dû élaborer. Pour toi, ça se voit que c'est un début. Et donc, voilà ma question. Quand on parle d'intelligence artificielle, je ne peux pas m'empêcher de ne pas penser aux gens, aux enfants particulièrement qui n'ont pas d'intelligence ou alors qui sont en dessous du QI. Est-ce qu'il n'y a pas moyen de trouver un projet? Tout à l'heure, nous aurons une présentation de doctorants qui ont travaillé, qui vont travailler ou alors qui ont déjà travaillé sur un outil pour les autistes. Pourquoi ne pas faire une réflexion là-dessus? Je m'excuse, j'ai lu.
Bon, là, Machi, c'est c'est-à-dire que je ne crois pas qu'il y ait des personnes qui n'ont pas d'intelligence. Ils ont de l'intelligence, mais un autre type d'intelligence, ils n'ont pas eu le moyen de les développer. C'est vrai qu'il y a des personnes à difficulté, des personnes handicapées, des autistes. Les autistes, ils sont super intelligents. Ce ne sont pas des gens qui ne sont pas intelligents. On peut voir l'intelligence artificielle comme un moyen pour les accompagner ou là pour les aider à surmonter des handicaps. Qui vraiment l'intelligence artificielle, mais les personnes même disabled. On peut imaginer de l'intelligence artificielle qui va les guider carrément, intelligents. Il y a plein de projets qui ont le sens. Natural language pour des personnes qui n'arrivent pas à parler, on peut augmenter la capacité, ou surtout avec le imprinted 3D printed tissue, la 3D printed, donc il n'y a pas de personnes qui ne sont pas intelligentes, mais il faut que le Maroc, il faut qu'ils mettent un petit peu les moyens pour ne pas marginaliser أنا غادي واحد المبدأ أنه ما نتسناش الآخرين تيعطيوني، حيت لا بقيت كنتسنى الآخرين تيعطيوني ما غادي نشد والو. كنشوف بعدا اشنو qu'est-ce que je peux faire avec ce que j'ai، واش نخرج avec ce que j'ai ونجمع عليا un cercle. Si j'ai un conseil à vous donner, entourez-vous de gens intelligents, mais entourez-vous de gens qui peuvent vous motiver ou qui peuvent vous donner de la valeur ajoutée. Ou éloignez-vous des gens اللي يكون يقول لكم غير سير نعاس ولا اجي نشرب معاه قهوه ونجلس ثلاثه سوايع سميتهم. الا لاشتو لا بريزونس ديالي في انترنت غادي تلقاو ما عنديش لي ريزو سوسيو، غادي تلقاوني لا في فيسبوك لا في تويتر لا في حتى شي حاجه. Pour la simple raison, c'est pas parce que je veux pas utiliser, mais parce que mon temps, je l'utilise pour faire ce que je veux faire. Je ne laisse pas utiliser. Je utilise la technologie, كنخدم ce qu'ils ont, كنمشي les meilleurs cours ديال Stanford, ديال Oxford, اللي كاينين فسميتو, je m'instruis, mais je ne perds pas mon temps ثلاثة سوايع في une discussion في social media. ولا time management. Time management is very important. فاش تدخل البرين ديالك good input يخرج لك good output. تدخلوا الرابش يخرج لك الرابش. Vous rentrez n'importe quoi, vous faites sortir n'importe quoi. Vous rentrez حوايج مزيانين غادي يخرجوا لك شي حوايج بحال هكا. Donc c'est très simple. Ou networking. Entourez-vous des gens اللي فاسميتو. Troisième conseil, ماشي أنا حيت computer scientist مشيت انتريستا الكمبيوتر ساينس. It doesn't make sense. أنا نحضر فاش يكون سيمينار على 6 سيز بنمشي للسيز. يكون كونفيرونس على لي زينيرجي جو سي با اتوميك نمشي لي زينيرجي اتوميك. علاش؟ باسكو البرين خاصو غير داك الديكليك. قد ما دخلتي ليه لا نوفوتي داخلين بزاف د الحوايج كيبانوا لك دوطخ بيرسبكتيف. داكشي تلقاو ليه بروجي parce que l'input il est diversifié et du coup les neurones ils s'activent plus facilement. ما دخلتي لي حاجه وحده يخرج لك voilà. Donc انا si j'ai un conseil دخلوا il faut s'instruire. الواحد يدخل كاين بلا لي ressources vous n'avez pas d'excuses. دي كور كاين كتار ديال لي meilleures universités كتجي تلقى احسن بروف ستانفورد حط لي كور ديالو في يوتيوب. اشنو بقى لينا؟ دونك ما بقى لينا والو. هذاك الشيء اللي غادي تجلس في قهوه وتجلس تسميتو تمشي تقرا لك شي حاجه. بون فوالا.